This emotional love story of mechanic Andrew and Sophia proves that true love always finds its way home. This heart-touching romantic story will remind you that even years apart cannot erase a love that is meant to be. He was an ordinary mechanic from a small town. She broke down right outside his garage. One rainy evening changed both of their lives forever. Their journey would lead through separation, silence, unexpected reunion, a family auto repair business, a beautiful wedding, and one unforgettable truth. Real love isn't measured by time. It's measured by the people who never stop choosing each other. This is a story about kindness, about patience, about hope, about waiting, about finding your way back home. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments. Do you believe true love always finds its way back?
Love Stories Max. Welcome to my channel. Enjoy watching, friends.
A mechanic's love story that will make you cry. Andrew had never considered himself special. He was just an ordinary guy from a small town. Every morning before sunrise, he would arrive at the old auto repair shop, pull on his worn-out mechanic's coveralls, wipe his hands with a rag that had long since stopped getting clean, and greet another broken car with a smile. He loved fixing engines. He always said that every engine had a soul. If you listen carefully, it'll tell you what's hurting. But no one knew that the thing hurting the most was his own heart. One rainy evening, an old blue car broke down right in front of the garage. A young woman stepped out. Her wet hair clung to her face, and panic filled her eyes. "Please, can you help me? I really need to get home." Andrew smiled. "Let's take a look." He lifted the hood. While searching for the problem, she stood quietly beside him. "What's your name?" "Sophia." "That's a beautiful name." She smiled, and in that very moment, Andrew realized, for the first time in years, the warmth he felt wasn't coming from an engine. He managed to start the car. Sophia reached into her purse. "How much do I owe you?" Andrew simply shook his head. "Nothing." "Why?" "Because sometimes, thank you is more than enough." She laughed softly. Then, "Thank you," and she drove away. He thought about her all night. Her smile, her eyes, the fact that he hadn't even asked for her phone number. "Idiot," he whispered to himself. A week passed. Then she came back. This time, her car was running perfectly. "So, did it break down again?" Andrew asked. "No, I just wanted to see the mechanic who doesn't charge people." He laughed awkwardly. "So, is this a date? If you invite me for coffee, then yes." From that day on, they became inseparable. After work, Andrew, still covered in grease, would meet her outside her office. Sophia would laugh every single time. "You could have washed your hands." "I didn't have time." "Liar." Then she'd gently wipe the grease off his cheek. They wandered through the city at night, ate ice cream in the middle of winter, lay beneath the stars, made plans, dreamed about a small house, a dog, children, growing old together. One evening, Sophia said, "Promise me something." "What is it?" "If we ever lose each other, you'll find me, even if it takes 10 years, even if it takes a lifetime." Andrew silently took her hand. "I'll always find you." But life never asks for permission before it shatters dreams. One day, Sophia was offered her dream job abroad. It was everything she had worked for. Turning it down meant regretting it forever. Accepting it meant leaving Andrew behind. They sat together at the train station without saying a word. Neither of them could find the right words. "I don't want to leave," she whispered. "But you have to. What if you forget me?" He smiled through the pain. "I'm a mechanic. I know how to fix cars. But no one will ever be able to fix my heart without you." The boarding announcement echoed through the station. Sophia was crying. She hugged him as tightly as she could, as if trying to stop time itself. "See you soon," she whispered. "See you soon," he answered, even though they both knew it might be a lie. The first few months were easy. They talked every day, sent messages, shared photos, laughed, made plans. Then the phone calls became less frequent. Work became busier. Life became heavier. The messages grew shorter. Good night. Take care. I miss you. Then, one day, the messages stopped coming altogether. Andrew texted first. No reply. He called. The number was unavailable. Again, and dozens of times after that. Months turned into years. He couldn't understand what had happened, what he had done wrong. Every evening, he opened their old photos, read their conversations, listen to her old voice messages, as if somehow he could turn time backward. 3 years passed. He was still working in the same repair shop, the same coveralls, the same wrenches, the same cup of coffee. Only his eyes had changed. They looked older and much sadder. One warm summer afternoon, a familiar blue car pulled into the garage. Andrew's heart stopped. The driver's door opened. It was Sophia. She looked almost exactly the same, only even more beautiful, and somehow a little sadder. They stood there in silence, as if the entire world had disappeared around them. "Hi," she whispered. "Hi. You're still here. And you came back." She lowered her eyes. "I wrote to you every single day, but none of my messages ever reached you. Then I lost my phone. I moved several times. A new country, a new life. I thought you just didn't want to see me anymore." Without saying a word, Andrew pulled out his old phone. There were no messages, only dozens of missed calls he had never even seen, because of an old SIM card, because of a technical error, because of a few heartless numbers. They had lost 3 years for nothing. Sophia couldn't hold back her tears. "We could have been together all this time." Andrew stepped closer, gently took her hand, just like he had the day they first met beside her broken car. "But you're here now," she cried even harder. "Are you angry with me?" "No." "Why?" "Because I promised you I would find you, even if it took my whole life." She threw her arms around him. The rain began to fall again, just like it had on the day they first met. A few months later, they opened their own auto repair shop. Above the entrance hung a simple wooden sign. "See you soon." Everyone who asked why the shop had such an unusual name always received the same answer. Andrew would smile, look at Sophia and say, "Because true love sometimes makes you wait. But if it's real, it always finds its way back." And every evening, as they locked the garage together, Sophia would gently take his hand and whisper, "See you soon." Andrew would smile. "We're not saying goodbye anymore." "I know." Now those words don't mean farewell. They're a promise that tomorrow they'll wake up beside each other once again. And that would always be the happiest reunion of all. Months passed. The small repair shop Andrew and Sophia had opened after finding each other again slowly came to life. At first, only a few customers stopped by each day. Then more came. Soon people were driving from neighboring towns. But they weren't coming only because Andrew was an excellent mechanic. They came because they were treated like family. Every customer was offered a cup of hot coffee. Every story was heard. If someone couldn't afford the repair, Andrew would simply smile. "You can pay me when you can. And if you never can, just help someone else someday." Sophia would watch him with eyes full of love. That was exactly why she had fallen in love with him all those years ago, on that rainy evening beside the old blue car. Not because he was handsome, not because he was strong, not because he was wealthy, but because his heart was kind. Every morning she brought him coffee. He always pretended not to notice. "Good morning, Mr. Mechanic." "Good morning, Mrs. Boss. You're covered in grease again." "It's my finest suit." She laughed, walked closer, and just like years before, she gently wiped a little black smudge from his cheek. Then he softly kissed her forehead. Even after all those years, they never stopped falling in love with each other. Every single day. One evening Andrew closed the garage earlier than usual. Sophia looked at him in surprise. Did something happen? Yes. He took her hand, led her back to the very road, the very place where her old blue car had broken down years before. This time there was no rain, only the warm glow of a summer sunset. Andrew knelt down, pulled out a small ring box, trying to hide his trembling voice. He said, "Once, you asked me to find you. Even if it took a lifetime, I found you, and I never want to lose you again. Sophia, will you spend every sunrise, every rainy day, every autumn, and every old age by my side?" She didn't even let him finish. She threw herself into his arms, crying as she whispered, "Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes." Their wedding was small, simple, no luxury, no expensive decorations, no hundreds of guests, only the people they loved most. Warm embraces, happy tears, honest smiles, and two hearts that had almost lost each other forever. When it was time to exchange vows, Andrew said, "I can't promise you a life without hardships. I can't promise there will never be tears. I can't promise we'll never argue. But I promise you this. I will choose you every single day." Sophia was already crying. She answered, "And I promise to be your home, even if the whole world feels unfamiliar, to be your peace when life becomes too loud, and to always be the person you long to come back to." Years went by. Their repair shop grew into a successful family business. But Andrew never stopped working in the garage. He still repaired old cars with his own hands, because he always said, "People don't always come here because their car is broken. Sometimes they simply need someone to tell them everything is going to be okay." Sophia opened a small cafe right beside the garage. Customers waited for their cars with warm coffee. Children drew colorful cars with crayons. Older people shared stories from their lives. And everyone who walked through those doors left with the same feeling, that perhaps the world was kinder than they had believed. Some evenings they sat together on the porch, holding hands, watching the sun slowly disappear beyond the horizon. One evening Sophia quietly asked, "Why do you think we found each other again?" Andrew smiled. "Because true love never arrives by accident. It may be delayed. It may lose its way. It may spend years in silence. But if two hearts truly belong together, life always finds a way to bring them home." Andrew often thought about those 3 lost years. Once, they had seemed unbearably unfair. Now, he understood. Maybe those years had taught them to treasure every morning. Every good morning. Every take care. Every I'm here. Because people only understand the value of warmth after living in the cold for far too long. Love isn't made of beautiful words, or expensive gifts, or perfect photographs. Love is coming home exhausted and still wanting to hear one person's voice. It's putting someone else's happiness above your own pride. It's asking, "Have you eaten today?" Even when you're exhausted yourself. It's remembering exactly how they like their coffee, straightening their collar, covering them with a blanket after they fall asleep on the couch, kissing their forehead, thinking they didn't notice. Those tiny moments are what true love is made of. Waiting is frightening. Loving is risky. Trusting someone is difficult. But what is even more frightening is never taking the chance at all. Life passes much faster than we realize. And in the end, we don't remember how much money we earned, the cars we owned, or the houses we built. We remember the people who held our hand when everyone else let go. If someone you love is beside you today, hold them close. Tell them the words you've been postponing. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because sometimes one simple sentence can change someone's entire life. Above the entrance to their repair shop, the old wooden sign still hung. "See you soon." And every evening, as they locked the door together, Sophia smiled at Andrew. "See you soon." He gently kissed her hand and smiled. "No, we're already home."